What's up, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to another week of Locals feature matches. We're in round 1 here, and we have Sky Striker versus Cyber Dragon. If you guys haven't checked out the first place deck profile from last week's Locals, I'll leave a link to it up in the top right annotation for you guys to check out. And Cyber Dragon having a rather quick turn 1 here, just passing and letting Striker play without any interruptions. I mean, I kind of understand why the Cyber Dragon deck may want to go second to try to go to OTK, but I know that there are some Cyber Dragon variants that are adept in going first and setting up very good boards with Dragoon, Infinity, and Overflow. So perhaps we might see a bit of an OTK build here, and luckily for him, his opponent's on Striker, which is not going to be able to OTK under any circumstances with, you know, the cards that Striker has to work with. I don't think there's any way that Striker can OTK the opponent, at least in a situation like this. There are no cards for him to take with Widow Anchor and Shark Cannon alike. So we're going to see a very quick and simple Sky Striker turn, just going to Hayate, getting access to some cards, and then going to Shizuku, etc., etc. And I'll swing in with the Shizuku, obviously, just for 15, and that'll do it for his turn after he sets one. And I'll hand it over to our Cyber Dragon player, who will start now with a Cyber Emergency that I believe was in his hand in the first turn that he had, and just opted not to use it. Maybe there's a reason why. Maybe just wanted to hold it, and hopefully he had a really strong turn 3. So we're going to see Core, and then it's going to get chain blocked by Veer from the hand, but it will chain block from Ash, but unfortunately will not chain block from something like Widow Anchor, which targets. But I do want to mention something as well. Unfortunately, I I didn't get to record my feature match in round 3 because I had already hit start recording, and I was paranoid thinking the camera wasn't recording, so I hit the start recording button again, and it stopped the recording. So I ended up losing the entirety of the round 3 match, so there will only be 3 feature matches this week, so I do apologize in advance for that. So we're going to see Chimera Tech Fortress, or Overdragon, then Fortress, and then a Cyber Rev system is going to try to resolve here to bring back the Veer. It's going to be met with the DD Crow, becoming rather popular this format, and for a good reason. Lots of graveyard heavy and reliant strategies, such as Sky Striker and Drytron, and obviously DD Crow does a good job at hindering those strategy, and it hits other things, in between those two decks. And he's going to try to enter the battle phase with the monsters that he had assembled, and there is a Nibiru before he leaves main phase 2. And he's going to go ahead and start things off with a copy of Area 0. That's going to send off that Nibiru as he adds a copy of Rose to his hand. Very, very good extender for the Sky Striker deck. I think Rose actually does kind of fix a lot of some of the problems that Sky Striker had originally. Having another main deck normal summon is great, and it just allows the deck to be able to apply more pressure, because as I said earlier, it has a hard time OTKing unless you're taking really big monsters and linking to cards like Borosword or Access Code with Shark Cannon and Widow Anchor, and using those cards to your advantage. But Rose just makes things a little bit easier, so you don't need to do as much work in terms of, needing the right cards to take from their field and grave. But we're going to see, there it is, the Engage, the almighty Engage, going to go ahead and grab a copy of Multi-Roll, 1 limited spell, grabbing another Multi-Roll is going to send off Area 0 to make it so he cannot respond to the activation and effects of Sky Striker cards. And we are going to see the Area 0 resolve now, going ahead and summoning out a copy of Ray. And now going to tag Ray, or just link Ray here, I imagine, into the Kagari. Going to chain block his Kagari with a copy of Rose, or it looks like he is debating on doing so. I'm assuming this chain block here is for something like Bell, but that's why you gotta love DD Crow, because DD Crow would not care about this particular chain block because it does target the card in the grave. It doesn't have to stop the particular card effect that's activating to try to get it back out of the grave and into the hand. So we'll see if he actually commits to the Rose here. Looking a bit apprehensive about doing so, maybe explaining to the opponent here what's going on, but it looks like he's not going to use the Rose. and instead is just going to regularly just use the Kagari, add back the engage. We'll go ahead and slap down engage once again. That's going to go ahead and search. Let's see here. What is he going to grab? Widow Anchor is in the grave, I see. So we could potentially get that back off of multi-roll here. So maybe doesn't need to add a copy of Anchor because he's already activated engage twice under the multi-roll. So he can go ahead and get 2 spells back as is. And currently the token right now, the Nibiru token, is at 0-0 because I believe the original attacks of the Chimeratech Fortress and the Chimeratech Mega Fleet Dragon. Yeah, that's what it is, Mega Fleet. The original attack and defense are both like question marks, so I believe the Nibiru token would not pick up the attack they gained from their contact fusioning, so it is a 0-0 token. And he will search off the engage, I believe a Widow Anchor, and he will go ahead and get the draw, of course, as well. And the Kagari will punch over the Nibiru token for, I believe, 1900, because I think there are 4 spells in the grave. Sometimes it's very hard for me to keep track of how many spells are in the grave. It just depends on how often the Sky Striker player goes to the graveyard, as I'm able to, check to see how many he actually has in grave. But I believe there it was either 4 or 3 spells in grave at the time he attacked with the Kagari, so I'll go ahead and double check after, make sure the life points are all correct. He's going to add Afterburners off of the Shizuku in the end phase. He's going to chain it in the end phase to also get it back off of the multi-roll. Or he's not, and I saw that incorrectly, or he just added it and set it. But either way, that'll do it for our striker player's turn. He's going to go ahead and banish Core from the grave to go ahead and summon out a Cyber Dragon from the deck. And he's going to go ahead and summon Cyber Dragon Hers, which of course I believe has its name changed in certain areas to make it so its name is actually Cyber Dragon. And there is Machine Duplication. Pretty strong card there. Not playing around a potential Imperm. Lucky not going punished there. Or going unpunished, I should say. And we're going to see 2 copies of Cyber Dragon hit the board successfully. Where will we take this now? And one thing I think I saw earlier in our Cyber Dragon player's hand was a copy of Power Bond. So maybe passing going first kind of made more sense now, or makes more sense anyways. Contact Fusion away the Shizuku for Fortress Dragon. And he's going to immediately tag the Rayout into a Kaina, and that is going to target the Chimeratech Fortress Dragon. So just immediately tagging the Rayout into Kaina. I mean, I understand why, but I don't think it's totally necessary. But either way, Hers is going to add a copy of Cyber Dragon from the deck to the hand because it was sent to the grave. And now we're going to see Power Bond, and it looks like we're sending 3 copies of Cyber Dragon here. So you know what that means. We're going for the almighty Cyber End Dragon, which is not at 4,000 attack. It's currently at 8,000 attack. And this is going to be, of course, a lot of damage if our striker player doesn't have a response. But of course he does. We know he has a Widow Anchor. So Anchor's going to take it. He has the limiter removal too. That would have been 16,000 attack. So that would have been game. Many times over, but unfortunately that is just going to be game there, because he does have the Widow Anchor for it. Widow Anchor will take it, and our Cyber Dragon player also is going to take 4,000 damage at the end phase here, if we even reach the end phase. So yeah, I'm not sure what the confusion is about exactly at this point. But it looks like our Cyber Dragon player is going to just scoop there. And we're moving into game 2. And understandably so. I think our Cyber Dragon player has burned all his resources at the end of that turn. So now we are into a game 2 situation. And I want to mention a quick shout out to our sponsor over at Imperium Duelist. They sell all sorts of amazing TCG accessories, such as playmats, deck boxes, binders, dice, backpacks, you name it, they sell it. And you can get all for 10% off using my discount code WinnerKills10off at checkout. And if you guys are shopping on TCG Player, hopefully not to buy a striker deck, don't forget to use my affiliate link down in the description below. And if you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase will go right back into the channel. And consider becoming a member of the channel today to get access to early videos like these and many other perks. So, Striker going first into a Shizuku, setting 3, not really doing much else past that, and handing it over to our Cyber Dragon player, who starts with what has to be one of the best counter cards in general to the Sky Striker deck, next to something like IO. Is a good old Kaiju. Just throwing a monster into that main monster zone, turning off all of their Sky Striker spells. Except for multi-roll and Area Zero. But like all the ones you really want to worry about, like Shark Cannon, Widow Anchor, Hornet Drones, Engage, right? It's going to do a great job at turning those off. Cyber Rev system is going to bring out a Cyber Dragon. And that is going to do it for his turn. Okay. There was something I did have to cut out. And that was our Cyber Dragon player activated Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. But did not have enough targets in the deck to actually resolve it. So they just had to reset the deck because his Desires must have banished his other Slumber targets. So our Sky Striker player starts with a Desires, goes in the battle phase, clears the Cyber Dragon, sets another card, and passes turn. Where our Cyber Dragon player starts with a copy of Repair Plan. Pretty good card to see here. And luckily for our Cyber Dragon player, he, the Gamma Steel he put on board the previous turn was not able to be cleared. I guarantee our Striker player was looking all over for a copy of Area Zero or multi-roll, just anything to get that off the board, or even copy of Ray or Rose, just to link it off into something and get that card off the main monster zone, because that's exactly what he needs to make those possibly 4-set back row viable. And now we're going to see Noxer bring back a Cyber Dragon, and it looks like on the summon we're going to see him chain Different Dimension Ground, which basically make it, I think, any monster or any card sent to the graveyard this turn is banished instead. So not a huge deal for the Cyber Dragon deck. He's going to go ahead and Power Bond again for Cyber Twin Dragon this time. That's going to be at 5,600, able to attack twice. If he doesn't have an answer here for the second attack, it will be game. Our Striker player only being at 4,600. I imagine he has to have a response for this, or else we're going to a game 3. But of course, yeah, there is a copy of Hornet Drones, grabbing the appropriate Sky Striker token, of course, and clearing it. And it looks like, yeah, going to set 1 after that. And I think that's going to do it for his turn. And he will, of course, take the 2,800 from the Power Bond, because Power Bond says you take damage in the end phase equal to the amount of attack that fusion monster gained by the effect of Power Bond. So in this case, it would be 2,800, dropping him down to 5,100. So not having that much of a huge lead in life points here anymore because of the Power Bond. I mean, you gotta go for the OTK there, right? You gotta call the bluff. It is unfortunate, though, that the Gamma Seal had to leave the field. If there's only some other way, you know, maybe you could like make it so the Gamma Seal couldn't be destroyed by battle. You know, just can keep punching over it twice. It wouldn't have been game, but would have been able to actually secure a lot more damage. You know, keep him off of the Sky Striker spells. Like we're seeing now, Engage activating, going to go ahead and grab a copy of Multi-Roll. And from here, we'll probably see him play the Multi-Roll, which he probably wish he would have found a turn or two earlier to clear the Gamma Seal, but he's got it now, so we'll take it. And of course, he'll activate the Multi-Roll. Now, one important thing to remember here is that the attack gain given by Power Bond is permanent, so that is still a 5,600 Cyber Twin, and this Widow Anchor could prove to be lethal. Won't be able to attack twice, but it can still get in for 56, and if it goes unanswered, and it looks like it will, so Striker will take this one 2-0. If you guys want to see more of my videos, consider checking out the 2 that are on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to all of the members that support this channel. And a special thanks goes to our Divine level channel members, and they are Cadillacs84 and Pony Stark. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your continued and extremely generous support of this channel.